How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a bit of an older one. It is from Corgi in 1/72nd scale diecast. It is one of their models from the Predators of the Sky series, as you can plainly see. It is a Grumman TBF 1C Avenger. Now, this particular aircraft, as you can plainly see, is flown by George H.W. Bush while in VT-51, while aboard the USS San Jacinto in 1944. Now, on his 18th birthday, Bush would enlist in the US Navy, and he became one of the youngest pilots in the Navy in 1943. Now, his first combat mission would be in May of 1944 in the Pacific Theatre, of course. Now, in August of 1944, during an attack on a Japanese installation, Bush's aircraft was hit multiple times by enemy anti-aircraft fire. He still managed to press home his attack, but on the return back to the aircraft carrier, he was forced to bail out of his damaged aircraft. Unfortunately, the rest of his crew was already killed, but he would be rescued by an American submarine, the USS Finback. Now, a number of US aircraft were lost during that raid, with many aviators captured and were later executed. And actually, some parts of the bodies were cannibalized by the Japanese. There are some really terrible stories from World War II, obviously. Now, Bush would receive this Distinguished Flying Cross for his actions, and, well, we all know what the future held for him. He would become an American president, of course, that, well, most of my viewers will most likely know. So what we'll do, though, is what you don't know is what this looks like. We'll take the lid off and have a little bit of a look. Alright, so as per usual with these ones, you do get a little booklet which does contain your sort of a limited run number. There is only 4,760 of these, so if you're an Avenger fan or a Bush fan, you might want to get yourself one of these. It does have some very interesting information inside there, of course, if you like to read things. And of course, this model right here, we'll quickly get it out of the box and have a little look. Now, it does have a little packet, which obviously has the stand, which is very Hobby Master-esque, because as we know, these are, I think, a Hobby Master mold, and you have that ordnance packet that does have all the torpedoes and bombs and rockets as well. There is a lot of pretty cool stuff that we need to put on this aircraft. And speaking of aircraft, let us open it up so we can get our hands on it. So as you can see, it does have the options there for gear up or gear down. And we need to get this out. Will it come out nicely, or do we have to get some poppage? We need to get some poppage. Try and grab it by the fuselage. Oh, nice. Oh, this has got a little bit of weight to it as well. We'll move this packet out of the way so we can check this model out before we start any kind of assembly. We'll see what the cool details are like. We'll zoom in. As you can see, it has got some really nice lines on there. The details do look fantastic. Now, obviously, this is a bit of an older one, so yeah, you know the deal. If you want one, you will have to hunt around on those interwebs and search for one for yourself. But, boy, the details on this are fantastic. Well, because it's Hobby Master, really, isn't it? Yeah, that's cool. I don't think... No, the turret doesn't move, but... No, I don't think the canopy comes off either, so... let us see. Nothing else really moves. It's got some really nice details. Look, got to be careful of the little prickly bits that do stick out on this one. And of course, underneath, it's got some prickly bits there too, so be very careful when handling this, because you don't want to knock these bits off, which can be easy to do, especially if you've got sausage fingers like myself. Yeah, that looks very cool. It's got the little gun just sticking out there. Beautiful. It's got a big Corgi stamp, just in case you thought it was a Hobby Master one. But that does look pretty awesome. All right, what we'll do, though, is we'll set this up in flight first, and we'll, check it out. We'll be back in a second. Alrighty, we've got it set up for in-flight. Very straightforward. You just put your landing gear options in. There's three little pieces that you put in for that. Those holes there are for the stand, which does cradle over this area. I think you could probably display this with the bomb bay open on the stand, because it does look like it just does clear it. But I thought I'd just show you clean first. We'll open up the bomb bay when we do put it gear down so you can check out the inside. You do put a set of 4 rockets on each side. They are awkward to put on. For a start off, they don't sort of like to seat in those rear holes very well. The front hole's nice. They tend to go in there really nicely. but the rear ones don't want to. And if you put more than a breath of pressure on there, the back tail fins snap off because you're trying to push down around in that area, and it's really easy to break those fins because I did break that one. So I've just quickly glued it back together. Hopefully it stays on for the video. But this is your beautiful looking Avenger set up for in-flight, obviously. And you do put the antenna on the canopy, which was a little bit of a pain to put on. I had to trim it a little bit to get it to fit into the hole. But that is your Bush Avenger set up for in-flight. Now, that is the stand that you do get. As I said, it's a cradle type. You do have to insert it into the holes like so, and it cradles over here. But as you can see, there's a little bit of space, and when you put those folded Bombay doors in, it does look to maybe clear it, but we will check that out later. So this is your beautiful Avenger set up for in-flight, of course. But I think it does represent the aircraft pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it. All right, what we're going to do, though, is we better open the weapons bay up, put some landing gear on it, and chuck this on the scales, too, just to see what it does weigh. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, here we are set up for gear down, as you can see. Now, very straightforward. You put your extended landing gear. They don't tend to go in nicely, so I am really worried about putting this down because the model does weigh a fair bit. It sort of goes into the holes okay, but it doesn't really feel very tight, and the landing gear itself seems to be a light plastic. But we will see in the end when we do put it down. Now, you put the extended tail wheel there. That fits in nicely, of course. And I did put the bomb load in because, well, he was flying a mission over land. So I assume he wasn't going to be putting a torpedo in. You do get the torpedo with the model if you want to display yours with a torpedo inside that weapons bay, of course. But if you're going to set it up like Bush's aircraft, it's most likely going to have a bomb load. And this is your beautiful beast set up for gear down, of course. And, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about putting it down, but what I'll do is I'll bring the scales in, so if it does fall down, at least it falls down on the scales. We'll still get an accurate weight, and I can cry afterwards. Look, the overall aircraft itself looks really nice, but, yeah, you just got to be very careful. There's a lot of bits you can break off too. Let's see how much it does weigh. All right, please hold together. Well, you can see it moving. Ooh, you could see the landing gear coming forward, so it is a little bit precarious. Look, if you're going to have this on display gear down, I would recommend maybe putting a little bit of white glue or something in there if you don't want to make it permanent, or if you're going to be a permanent gear down type of displayer, something a little bit stronger. But we do have 330 grams, which is not too bad for a World War II aircraft, of course. And I reckon, as I said, it does look very nice for a Hobby Master Corgi model here. We will attempt to get this off, and we'll wind up the video. This is going to be fun. Oh, yes, see, it comes off, but that is unfortunate. The overall aircraft itself does look fantastic, but obviously, as you just saw, the landing gear fitment is a little bit woeful, actually, but it goes in nicely. It just doesn't stay in place. Little bit of a unfortunate thing, but yeah. All right, we'll wind the video up, of course. We'll put it on the deck and see if it just falls to pieces. At least your propeller does spin okay, but yeah. All right, I will finish the video by saying, you know what I'm going to say. I'll take some photos of this. Hopefully it stays upright and throw them on at the end, and you can check out this aircraft without my fingers all over it, of course. Don't forget to like it if you enjoyed what you saw today. And, of course, comment below if you have one and if your landing gear absolutely decides to pack it in every time you put it down. But in flight, it does look absolutely fantastic. But I think for us gear down displayers, we're going to take a hit on this one. But I still reckon it's a nice little model. I don't have a real bad issue with it. As I said, you can permanently glue them into place, and it will be a bit more stable. I'll wind up the video by saying, of course, thank you so much for dropping past to check out another one of our videos. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. All right, you all have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. Cheers.